So, so Prince passed away today, and I haven't done a video in a minute, but I had to do one today. I'm not shaved. I know I'm looking kind of rough around the edges, but I had to do this video today because Prince was such an idol of mine. And as the title of this video says, he's one of the greatest, or to me is the greatest musician of all time in terms of popular music. And I will explain why. To me, what sets him apart from so many of the other greats in popular music. I have to say that I was a late bloomer to Prince. I uh, I was a rock head sort of in my younger years. I was into Led Zeppelin. I was into, hard. I was into some heavy metal or sort of classic rock music as they would call it now, pop music. And then I saw the movie Purple Rain. And after I saw Purple Rain, I was hooked on Prince because Prince, for me, connected so many musical genres. He connected the rock, he connected the R&B into one. And I'm not a musician, but I love music. And, I always said I'm going to be a rock star one of these days, and I wanted to be like Prince. I wanted to be able to play it all. And Prince was that. After I saw Purple Rain, I proceeded to get all of his music. And I have countless bootleg CDs, 12-inch records, B-sides, because musically he was just one of a kind. Now, first, I just to the family and, his friends and colleagues, just my condolences. But why I think Prince meant so much to me and why I felt he stood above a lot of our other popular artists. And again, this is just personal opinions, so don't bash me too bad. Number one, Prince could do it all. He could play so many instruments. He could sing. He could write. He could produce. When he first was signing to labels, one of the biggest battles that he has had was that he wanted to produce himself. And of course, when you're that talented, that's what you want to do. A lot of artists, they're big and they're famous, but oftentimes other people write their songs and they just sing, or they definitely don't play their music. I mean, how many artists out there do you see playing their music these days? Prince could just do it all, and I can't think of many artists out there who was that talented in popular music, all right? It's very hard to do it in pop music because pop music is big business. And so they want to water you down, and so that's another video. But number one, why I considered him the greatest is because he could do it all. He could produce, he could write, he could perform, he could sing, he could do it all. And if you can name some others who could do that, who are sort of popular like Prince. Two, he wrote so many songs. I mean, and good songs. I mean, I remember at one point I used to get mad because he would release a song and then, at least back then, on CDs or albums or whatever, on the flip side, there was a song that wasn't on the CD, or there was a song that wasn't on the album. So you had to get the single to get the CD. And the B-side of the song was just as good as the original song. Songs like 17 Days, She's Always in My Hair. I mean, these songs weren't released as singles. They were like B-sides, and so many others. Erotic City was a B-side. Um, so just the wealth of music that he produced, it's so much that I don't think we'll ever hear it all. Three, music wise, he had integrity. Now, this is very hard to come by now. Integrity as it relates to music. Prince realized he was a musician. Aside from being this pop star, aside from being this other thing, he was a musician. And so, a lot of people didn't like him for this, but no, he didn't want his music sampled. His position was probably, look, it took me hours, maybe minutes to write this song, to come up with this music. No, I don't want you to take my music and sample a clip out of it over and over and over and over again and make a hit. You're really watering down my music. And so, you notice that I don't think there were many rap songs or songs that were out that were where they were sampled, because he didn't believe in that. He believed in the integrity of music, and that was just because of he was such a musician. He could just play it all, and that's what he fought with the record companies about. It was because they wanted him to be one way and he wanted to be another way. And I think another reason that really sets Prince apart from some of the other artists or greats of our time, and again, I'm talking as it relates to pop music. And there are some that actually there are a lot that I can say who fit this criteria, but the combination of all of these things I think really sets Prince aside. But Prince just loved music, and what I think does set him aside from many of the other greats, he loved a variety of music. A lot of artists will say, "Oh, I like this type of music and I like this type of music," but when you hear their music, it's usually one type of genre. All right, it's usually one form. It's R&B, it's soul, it's alternative, it's this. But Prince put a variety of music in his work. You could hear a gospel song, you could hear funk, you could hear R&B, you could hear a rock song, you could just jazz, of course. We know he really got heavily into the jazz in the later stages of his career. So for those reasons, this is why I feel that Prince just was just in a league of his own. And I don't even want to get into the music of today. I mean, that is another video, and don't get me wrong, I love it. I just think that the business has taken over too much as it relates to music of today, and I think too many artists are selling out. They are doing what they can to get a big dollar, And don't get me wrong, Prince did that too. I think he really tried too hard to be too controversial when he came out, and he had the leotards and the bikinis and the boots and all that type of stuff. And you couldn't look beyond that, and I think a lot of people couldn't look beyond that. But behind that person was this musician, I kind of think of Lady Gaga in the same way, and I didn't know. I just thought she was just pop thing, and then I heard her sing and play the piano, and I was like, okay, there's so much more to this, to Lady Gaga, than what's really being put out there. So I don't know. I am so distraught about Prince being gone. He is one of a kind. His legacy will live on. His music will live on. So, rest in peace, Prince.